Don't wait until you are out of options to start reacting. That's how you get yourself into some shitty shit. Be smart, get a plan developed to tackle this accordingly. The debt you have has interest and it's ticking. Somebody got paid by you today. So don't wait until you're out of options. I think this is a very applicable statement to a lot of different things. But for me particularly, in my younger years, between the age of 18 and going on to 22, I was in a lot of debt and I was in the military at the same time. And every single one of my paychecks would go into paying off this debt. Oftentimes, all of my paycheck is gone straight into the accountability of money that I've lost. Don't wait until you're out of options, right? So for me, at that point, I kind of was out of options because all of my money was going towards this big, numerous amount of debt, and the interest I was accumulating would have put me in a position of never being able to pay it off within my career because I only made $30,000 a year, $40,000 worth of debt. The interest rate was already eating up. So in 5 years, if I kept making those payments the way that I was making them, I would end up accumulating more money than I've even put into it, only paying into the interest. Because I don't know if you know, but when you pay a credit card, they take the interest first, then whatever remains after the interest goes to the principal. So that means if you're $1,000 in debt, hypothetically speaking, for the sake of numbers, your interest rate will be $100 on top of that $1,000 for this month. If you pay $200 in a minimum payment, $100 is going towards the interest, then $100 is going towards the principal. Now, if we do that math, every time you pay $200, that's fine. You'll eventually be able to pay it off, but it's going to take you twice as long. But the moment that you can't put down 200 and you put down 100, you just bought yourself 2 more months of interest. And there's going to be so many times in life where you're going to be in a position that you can't actually continuously make these minimum payments, especially if you're already financially struggling. Debt is vicious. It is literally the trap. It's the best business in the world because the banks can lend you something that doesn't really exist, just digits on a screen, and they put you in debt, which allows you to get a job, and you leverage whatever you're spending this money on, whether you just got a new house and you need a sofa, a TV, and a table, so you go in debt for it, and now you're literally a slave to this system because this furniture that you purchased is now accumulating interest for the next few years, which bought you 4 more years of having worked the same job until your table is paid off. It's tough, but this is what economic slavery looks like. So if you're not financially savvy, that's fine. But you are smart enough to understand that you can't afford something. That's something that I wish I would have sat down and told myself, because you know that some of these things that you're doing is kind of stupid. And if you go and spend money outside of this realm because you feel like you should today or you deserve it, then you're also telling your future self that he deserves to work a lot harder for the money that you aren't paying now that could potentially accumulate to 10x in the future. Terrible decision. So again, don't wait till you're out of options. But you are also a human being who can create options. But that also depends on how you view your situation. For me, I had to adopt the mentality of me being a millionaire before I could potentially become one. And that put me in a position of understanding that maybe one day if I continue to move this skill, it might make me more money than I could fathom, which means that the debt that I'm in now will be okay if I continue to do what needs to be done. But most people will give up along that route before they even get to see it actually finish. Most of those people will be stuck in these positions and working forever. This is how our economy works. The whole point is to attach you to the most expensive thing that you can try to afford to keep up with the Joneses or to make you feel happy from a purchase. And then the moment you get stuck there, you're there having to fish for jobs. And forbid that you actually get fired from this thing and start making less than you used to make before. Because now the thing that you bought to make you happy will be the same reason why you feel like you're living in hell. And it's terrible. So what I will say is, if you live this way, psychologically, it doesn't make sense. Don't put yourself in this position. It's all a framework of mind. It's all the way that you think about your situation, logistically and economically. So I say this to say that somebody probably got paid today by you. You woke up and you ate somewhere. You woke up and you went to the grocery store. Everything that you do costs money. You walk outside, you brush your teeth, you You go to sleep, bro. Everything costs money. You leave the AC on. You're literally consuming. That is what a consumer is. When you use things in this world and you aren't in direct reflection of creating the things that you use, you are using something someone else is creating for you for the sake of convenience, which means you will forever be in debt to the services that you keep using. So if you are not in the position to keep using these services, then you need to stop and start creating the differences to help you. Some people live some very cheap lives. Some people live lives they can't afford. But what I will say is, you'll be damned if someone walked into your house and told you to get up off the couch. But you're in debt. You don't own the house. You don't own the couch. You still owe these people money, but you think it's yours and you call it yours and you protect it like it's yours. But it's not. Everything that you own is relatively rented because you don't actually own any of it. It is someone's as long as you deem it. So if you go to work and then you come home, how much time do you actually spend in your house? Most people spend 8 hours to just sleep, wake up, and immediately run off to go to work. This puts them in a position or a cycle to forever paying off something. So I say this to say, somebody got paid by you today. Who did you get paid by? Did you get paid by your employer? You're in debt to your employer because you have a job that needs to be fulfilled for the means of the paycheck. So again, the more time you spend in that position and less time you spend on actually learning a skill that you can take your financial freedom from, you're never going to make it out. So just be technically savvy on what you end up purchasing, so at least you can have some kind of freedom.